I want to talk to you about spring tips, April tips, depending on where you live when spring occurs. Some of you are already heavy into spring. Some of us are still just now noticing a few dandelions blooming. So depending on where you live, spring comes a little later or a little bit sooner. I want to give you some tips tonight for maybe some things you've been thinking about, what you need to be doing. Thanks, Greg, for your donation. I appreciate that. So first thing up, right on the top is when spring happens, your bees made it through winter, you're very happy, and now you're wondering, how do I keep them from swarming very quickly? Swarming, for those of you brand new, may be something you haven't thought about, but it's when half of a strong colony swarms, leaves, and the other half stays at home. They leave with the old queen. And then you're cut down by 50%. Well, of course, your main hive builds back up quickly. But anyway, if you prevent it, you get to have more honey that year, usually. So some of the ways that we suggest people can prevent swarm and actually control it is by the Demarest method. I have a whole video. It would take longer than we have right now to talk about the Demarest method. But it is a well-known, it's been around for a long time, back in the 1800s. But it's been around for a long time. And it is an effective way to have a swarm control on your hive. It's basically vertical separation of the brood from the queen and all that. I've got a video. Just go to my channel after the live stream here, and you can type in David Burns Demarest method at the top of a YouTube search line, and it will bring that up, and you can watch that video. Also, talking about videos, I have got a video on a double screen board, or the pretty typical or pretty similar is what we call the Snell Grove board. So in other words, I watched that video today getting ready for this live stream. And I have to say, I rarely watch any of my videos after I make them, but I wanted to pull some things out of that video that I made 2 years ago. And I learned a lot. I had forgotten some of the things that I said in that video, and it really enlightened me. But anyway, in that Snell Grove board video, and you can type in from the YouTube search, David Burns Snell Grove board, and that video will come up. I actually put together 2 years ago and it's free, but it's a PDF downloadable link or file or whatever, and you can download it, and I've got it all spelled out. Sometimes if you're watching a video, somebody's talking fast. Am I supposed to do that first? That second? But anyway, in the description of this live stream, down below, you'll see I have a link to that video. Don't leave us now. Don't go anywhere, but you can watch it after the video is over, after live stream's over. But those are two methods that are very effective at swarm control. Now, another way that is probably most pursued and suggested is that beekeepers learn to remove swarm cells during an inspection. So you go out, you inspect your hive. Swarm cells look like your little pinky hanging vertically on the side of a frame of comb, and it's about the size of a little pinky hanging down like that. I've showed you pictures before, but those are swarm cells. There'll be a lot of them. And so in the case of wanting to prevent a swarm, what you do is you remove those before your queen leaves with a swarm. If you do it after they swarm and the queen is gone, then if you knock down all those queen cells, you're probably destroyed your hives any chance that they would have a queen. You killed their queen cells. So don't do that. But anyway, that's one way you should do it. And that's one way that we really advocate that you keep your hives from swarming, is by knocking down the swarm cells while the queen is still in there. Of course, you don't want to destroy these queen cells. They're really good. They'll make great queens for you. So if you're a sharp beekeeper and you're comfortable handling those swarm cells, you got to keep them kind of warm and vertical, but you can cut them out and put them in another hive, a queenless hive somewhere, and let them emerge. So those are great too. And then the other thing about swarm control, I like this one the best, is that you need to consider being proactive and actually splitting your hive. Yeah, making another hive, because that's what a swarm is. A swarm is when a beehive wants to reproduce and make another hive. And so you're going to do it yourself for them on your time schedule. And that's what it means by being proactive. And let's jump right into that. So let's talk about spring splits. You can split at the beginning of the swarm season to avoid a swarm. So if your bees are getting ready to swarm and you make a split before they do, then you stopped the swarm and you took advantage of them wanting to reproduce and make another colony. And now you're doing it under your scenarios. You're going to move them off to different places, make a split, whatever. These different types of splits are enormous. I think I counted 20 plus different ways to make a split. Yeah. Now we all are familiar with words like a walkaway split. That's a real common phrase, I guess, that people say, a walkaway split. And that's simply taking a bunch of bees and frames from your main mother hive that overwintered. And sometimes it means if you have 2 deeps, you walk away with the top deep or the bottom deep, but you walk away with half of the hive and then you've made a split. And as long as both sections have eggs, you don't really care if you find the queen or not, or where she is, which box she is in, because it doesn't matter. They both have eggs. They'll both make a new queen. Okay. So that's a walkaway split. But I assure you, there are so many different ways to make a split. And I think I've made videos on that, on different ways to make a split. That's really wild how many ways there are. Some of them are very laborious and I would never do them. Some of them are easy. I'll tell you about my easy way of doing it just a second. Now, when you make a split, there's always that issue. You need to account for the loss of foragers. Sometimes when you walk away, you move your split somewhere else. So you need to monitor the population of your hive that you took the split out of and the split, because foragers may go back to the original hive. Also, you need to consider treating the split colonies for mites. And I like doing it kind of, before I make that split. Treat the big hive before I split it, if that's possible. If not, it's not a big deal. You can treat for mites after you make that split. Doesn't really matter. Well, let me tell you my favorite way of making a split. It's so easy. All of you should know it unless you're new to my channel tonight. Thanks for watching. I like to take 4 frames out, maybe 5, but I'll take 4 frames of brood, honey, pollen, eggs, larvae, pupae, and I'll take the old queen with those frames, and that will be my split. I will walk away with those 4 frames and I'll move them to a place on my property. I'll put something in front of them, forcing the foragers to take a new orientation flight. Back home, they won't swarm because the queen is gone. That's going to give me 30 days before they raise another queen back in the original hive. Now I've got 2 hives. That is so easy to do. And it's such a good swarm prevention method. It's so easy to make splits that way. That's the only thing I use now because it just works so easy. This is a screenshot of the video that I was telling you about. The Snell Grove double screen board. I'm holding it in my hand here. And you can get the name of that video down there below the video. It's called Beekeeping Swarm Control using the Snell Grove method. Snell Grove is basically a double screen board with doors on it. But yeah, that video will help you so much if you're getting really close to swarm season. Make a note and search for that video after this live stream. It will help you so much on that. Now, another tip I want to give you for spring is, when do you add a super? So, you come out of winter and you got your bees growing and now you got flowers blooming and you think, hey, I want to capitalize on getting a lot of honey this year. What do I need to do? When to add a super? Well, I like to use the 5 to 7 frame rule. When your deep box on top gets 5 7 frames full, for those of you that are new to beekeeping, starting with a package or a nuke, that's usually when you add the super on the top. If you're overwintering a colony and they've come out of winter really big and all 20 frames and 2 deeps are full, you need to add a super right away, ASAP. Yeah. Not tonight, but do it in the morning. That's how fast. If flowers are blooming and your hive is full, you might want to add a super right away if there's things for them to forage on. Now, drawn comb, that's a word again for those of you that are brand new. that means the frames have already been pulled out or made into a drawn out comb that the bees can use. Before they're drawn out, they're just called a foundation. They're wax or plastic foundation, very thin. Bees can't use it until they add their wax to it. So drawn comb, if you're a second-year beekeeper or longer, you've probably got a stash of drawn comb that you can utilize to help your bees build up faster. That really works good for your supers, especially. Man, if you put a honey super on that you used last year and you harvested all the honey out of, and now it's drawn out, you put that honey super on there, boy, your bees are going to fill that up fast. Now, another thing I love to tell you guys is if you're starting with a nucleus or a package in the spring, and this might work too if you came out of winter with a very weak colony, but it's starting to pick up a little bit. You can bait the next box, the next brood box you're going to put on there, by taking a frame out of the box that you're going to put on, and then take a frame of bees, and preferably open brood, out of the bottom box and put it in the top box. And that's going to just cause the bees to want to get up in the box you've added a little bit quicker. Make sure not to leave the frame out in that bottom box. You got to kind of swap the frames. Never leave a frame out in any box. And let's talk about, this is a big one for spring. I want you to be on red alert, and that's mite control. Now, I've always kind of been talking about mite control, and I know everybody gets tired of hearing it, but I think after hearing what's happened to bees in 2024, 2025 winter, I think mites have had a big part in that. And I'm going to start buckling down even more than I normally do on my mites. So I really hope you'll understand that bees that have less mites do better. That's all it is to it. And so I think you should follow the test, treat, test protocol, because I know some people keep thinking, let's just treat, let's forget about testing, let's just treat, they're in there. But you don't know. I've had several hives last year that did not have enough mites to meet the protocol to treat. So I saved time and money and stress on the bees by not having to treat them. And so testing makes a difference, right? So if you can test and then decide how you're going to treat. By the way, I made a video a couple of days ago on a new test. It's not new. I think it's new for me to make a video on it, but it's a testing protocol webpage by the Honeybee Health Coalition. And they have a very good webpage where you can go. And some of you ask me a lot of questions like, when can I treat? What should I use? How much should I put in there? And so this website, if you'll watch the video I made, it guides you to how to get there and how to use their webpage, but it will show you exactly how to, they'll ask you questions. I mean, it's just a website. It asks questions like, do you have more than 3 mites per 100? If you do, click here. And then it asks you another question. Is brood present? Then you say yes or no. And then it asks you another question. So it's using the answers you give it to give you the right sort of treatment that you can use what time of the year if your hives are growing. So be sure and check that out as well. So you need to inspect for mites every 30 days, especially in the spring when they're building up. Even a new package after 30 days, let's check for mites. So see what we got. Write that number down so you can see if they're growing, if you're getting worse. And then if you have more than 2 or 3 mites per 100 bees, you need to take action, whatever your action is. You may want to use green drone comb. I kind of hate to break the brood cycle of the queen from laying early on because I need population. But if you're later on in the year when you got population, you can break the queen's brood cycle by putting her in a cage, leave her in there for a week, and that will cut down on the number of mites that can expand. But anyway, you need to consider your treatments, and you need to rotate your treatments also. We all feel and understand that. I know a lot of people feel like they're married to a salic acid. It works. They use it. It's wonderful. I know a lot of people have success with it. I know a lot of people have success with Formic Pro. They love that. It kills below the cap brood. It's the only thing that kills below the cap brood, where most of the mites are anyway. But I still think you need to rotate your treatments. At one point in the year, you need to switch to a different type of treatment. We just don't want these mites to develop a resistance to any of these treatments. As hard as it might seem, unlikely that it might seem that never going to happen, never say never, right? And so every mite that we don't kill with that treatment scares us because we fear that mite could start developing a resistance to what didn't kill it. All right. So remember, two mites is really a good protocol. Less than 2 mites per 100 bees. That's still a lot of mites on your bees. And then finally, we got to talk about feeding in the spring. Now, why is it important to feed in the spring if there's flowers blooming and everything like that? Well, it's, there's a time like right now in Illinois where it's raining every day. It's cloudy. It's windy every day. Bees aren't flying. They're stuck in their hive. And this is especially bad if you bought a new package or if you got a brand new nucleus. They may not have a lot of stored up resources, so they might get hungry waiting. But your overwintered colonies, yeah, they probably got enough on board. They're going to be able to wait out a few rainy days or something. But look, I like having some food on there. Right now, I saw my first dandelion blooming today. So you just imagine Illinois, our trees are starting to bloom a little bit. Dandelions are coming out, but we're getting a lot of rain. We're getting a lot of cloudy weather. So I'm still feeding my bees to get them until I think next Wednesday is supposed to be finally sunny, so I'm just trying to help them out. I like helping my bees out. So I like feeding them 1-to-1 sugar water to help them get kind of stimulated and start laying a lot of brood early in the spring. And of course, I always like to feed from the top, but I always encourage you to stop feeding once you put your honey supers on. We don't want honey in your honey supers or sugar in your honey supers. You want honey there. So I made this as a way. Let me change my screen back. All right. Yep. Thank you. I made this to help feed bees in the spring like this. It comes with the jar lids with the little holes in it. And a lot of you have asked me, how small do you make these little holes? And the answer is as teeny tiny as you can make them. Really. Absolutely. Hey, Brian, thank you for taking the class. Thank you for your donation tonight. Appreciate that so much. Yeah, that's a picture of me. And I've made a lot of videos here on YouTube where I have actually showed you guys how to mix the additives that we add to the sugar water and how to put it on the hive. That's going to be a big help to you guys to watch my spring feeding videos. Again, to search online, you'll find it on YouTube there. Let me push the right button here. I hope these tips have been helpful for you guys to get your mind wrapped around what you need to be doing. So basically, swarm control, make splits if you need to. Make sure that you're feeding your bees. Make sure you're doing good mite control. Make sure you're putting honey supers on to give them room to put more honey on your hive. And, don't be shy with the honey supers. It might be a great year. Take advantage of it. We're blooming early. Gosh, I've never seen it bloom this early. And I got my fingers crossed that it's not going to get wicked cold after all of these trees are starting to bloom and leaf out. That's going to be tragic. I think a couple of nights in the future here, it's going to get down below freezing. I don't know what effect that's going to have on everything, but hopefully we can tread above water and keep our head in the warm side of early spring. Oh, hope so anyway. All right, good. Let's go into. Oh yeah, I want to remind you guys, I'm going to be speaking in Texas, Abilene, Texas, in June 21st. All of you in the area may want to stop in and take in this conference registration. Just go online and type in Texas Beekeepers Association, and you can take in this summer clinic in Abilene, Texas. I'm looking forward to being down there and having a good time. I hope some of you will be there. Come up to me, tell me hello. I'll be glad to shake your hand and meet you in person there in Texas. Yeah. All right, let's have some time for questions and answers. Questions and answers tonight. Any tips on getting the bees to enter back into the bottom box? It's a bit cold here to do a complete teardown. Wow, if it's still cold and they're not wanting to go down yet, you might just have to hold course. You know, you can always rotate your boxes if there's nobody down there at all, no brood or anything. But if there's a little bit of brood in there, I kind of hate to rotate them if it gets cold, because you'll make a gap between the brood area. So maybe best thing to do is hold your course a little bit longer till it warms up a little bit, and then see if they don't go down on their own. If they get pretty full, they're going to move down there, I think. Absolutely. Hey, Stuart, put in a Winter Be Kind board in late November and they hardly touched it. What's happening? Well, I'm taking it that your hive is still doing good. That's a good thing. Hey, thank you, Pamela, for your super sticker tonight. So if your hive didn't touch the Winter Be Kind, they usually do that because they just have enough of their own food stores. I've always said the Winter Be Kind is an emergency feed in case they run out. I kind of think your bees probably had enough for their own food and didn't need it. But thank goodness it was on there in case they did run out. That would be my educated guess on that one. Yep. Hey, John. Dave, I'm a brand new beekeeper. Oh, I'm getting 2 nukes this year and was wondering, what do you think about insulated beehives like Lysol or Apiary? I think there's a lot of discussion today, John. Oh, by the way, congratulations on becoming a beekeeper. And I want to educate all of us, including me, on the proper pronunciation of a nuke. Some people say a nook. A nook is different than a nuke. So if you're having trouble remembering which way to say it when you're talking about a bee colony, a small bee colony, it is a nuke. And it stands for, this will help you, it stands for nucleus. It's a small nucleus. Nuke. Okay, so yeah, there are some hives today that are made with insulation in them. Bees in the natural habitat of the trees, they have insulated big bark trees that they're hanging out in. I'm going to experiment this year, and I'm going to actually insulate probably about 5 of my hives for an experiment. I'm going to keep them insulated all summer long, because I heard a speaker speak in North Carolina, and he said you need to insulate in the summertime to keep the heat out. We do our houses. But on the other hand, I'm a certified master beekeeper. I'm all too aware that bees can very successfully control the climate of their colony. Climate of their hive and colony, I guess. But on the same hand, we did move them out of a tree and domesticated them into a little 3/4 inch wood box. Okay. Alex, how you doing? In a 1-frame insulated queen mating nook, should I slow release the queen into 4 frames 14 days after emergence, or will they accept her? How many attendants does she need with the food but no brood? Let me read that again. Insulated queen mating nook. Should I slow release the queen into 4 frames 14 days after emergence? Oh, 14 days after emergence. Well, Alex, if I understand you right, if you're going to give a mating nucleus, if you're going to give them a mating nook, is there a reason you're waiting 14 days after the queen emerges? That's a little long. What I would do if I had a mating nuke, I would actually put my queen cup in there, queen cell in there before she emerges. Now, if she's already emerged and you've got her like in a incubation bank or something like that, yeah, you can't, I wouldn't want to do a direct release. Going to have to use queen candy or a marshmallow, put her in that mating nuke, and then let them eat through that candy. So she'll need some food. How many attendants does she need with food but no brood? I'm not sure if I totally understand the scenario there. I'm going to pass on that one for now. Maybe you can come back around and be a little more descriptive. Yeah. Hey, Joy, can I switch to liquid feed when the night temps dip in the 30s, then bounce to the 40s and 50s during the daytime? That's still a little bit cool, actually, for liquid feed. I do it. I've done it. They'll eat it. If it's fed from the top, the warmth of the hive on a 50-degree day may cause them to eat it, but they're going to eat it a lot less. They're going to cluster at 50 Fahrenheit or below. So you're right on the line. You're right on the fence on that one. You could go either way with winter bee kinds, candy boards, or liquid. Right on the line on that one. Now, all of us are. We are worried about bouncing around like that. All right. Draco, when doing a split for the first time, do I have to move the hive to another location? That's a question that gets asked every live stream, I think. But welcome. I would say you don't have to. It works better. It's the most guaranteed way to move them 2 miles away and then bring them back after 2 weeks. Most of us don't do that because we don't have time to fool with that. So we just move them somewhere on the property and we put something like a folded chair up in front of it. And we hope the foragers will take a reorientation flight. But keep an eye on it. The foragers may all go back to their same hive. You may have to start over again. Hey, John, thanks for your donation tonight from upstate New York. My hive's doing very well. Overwintered 2 deeps and a super, all full of bees. And super has brood. Okay, worried they will swarm, but queens wouldn't be available in my area for 3 or 4 weeks. Look, if queens aren't available in your area, John, don't sweat it because I got an idea that they're not going to swarm unless they can raise their own queen. So if they swarm, just trust them to raise a queen. Hey, Tom, how are you doing? Good to see you, Tom. Thanks again for you and Sherry and all you do. Much appreciated. Glad you escaped the storm damage. Stay safe. Well, Tom, I appreciate that. Good to have you here tonight, Tom. And I enjoyed being on a Zoom meeting last week with Tom's Club. And I got to meet members of Tom's Club, and it was a pleasure. So thanks for having me on. Appreciate that. Yep. Hey, Dan, I have a weak hive coming out of winter that's about the size of a package. Okay, 10,000 bees with a small hive like this. Will they attempt a reproductive swarm being small, or will all overwinter colonies swarm? The answer to that is, who knows? Anything's possible. Expect it to swarm. You wouldn't think so. You'd think they would have to have good population, good amount of drones, a lot of food on board. You wouldn't think so, but as soon as I tell you don't worry about it, they're going to swarm while you're at work. They're going to wait until you drive off, know that you're gone, and swarm. So just keep an eye on them. To keep a good eye watching for swarm cells. Hey, Chase, have one hive that made it through winter looking to make splits coming up. No other beaks nearby, I don't think. Do you think I have a higher chance of the queens having mating issues? Well, Chase, I don't know where you live, but I'm going to say a lot of people worry about this, and I don't think it's a worry unless you live somewhere like, in the desert or somewhere where just bees aren't around. But if you live in an area where there's a lot of forests or trees, pasture. I mean, just, a lot of places where bees could be, natural bees, feral bees. I wouldn't worry about it. No, I don't think so. There's more bees out there than you think. Yeah. All right. Hey, Jana, if you buy beeswax from a bee store, will the chemical still be in the wax? And if so, should you use it supers on? Yeah, I know what you're asking is your wax that you're getting from bee stores, maybe it has miticides in it. And when you use it for honey supers, could it be an issue? Normally, we don't worry a lot about that, but maybe we should worry more, because it's likely that it could have miticides in there. But again, some miticides can be used with honey supers on. Some oxalic acid can be used with honey supers on. Formic Pro can be used with honey supers on. Varroxan can be used with honey supers on. So we're getting more treatments now. So, but the synthetic treatments, we don't want to use wax that has synthetic treatments in them. So I'm not sure. Jana, the best thing that I can tell you, I know this may not be your situation, but I like to save the cappings off my honey supers because I know where that came from. It's mine, and I use that to wax my frames. Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, we don't know, do we? Oh, hey, Rich, when applying wax to frames for bees to draw out the foundation quicker, Is there a wrong way to do it? Too much, not enough, not completely covering the foundation? Is it strictly attractant correct? No, Rich. If you watched my video that I made, the red wax experiment, very popular video, wrote a bee culture article about it. I've given talks about this experiment that I did. Bees will utilize any wax that you give them on their foundation rather than having to metabolize nectar and make their own wax. So that speeds up the process. I would recommend that don't worry about how you put it on. I put it on too thick, not enough, and they just smooth it all out. As long as they have some to work with, it's going to be fine. Don't worry about going too much on it. Nah, you'll be fine. Hey, Brian, thanks for your donation tonight. Good to be with you in the chat. Well, we're privileged to have you, Brian. Peeked into 5 hives today, saw 2 to 3 frames of brood. Hallelujah. Great to see queens extended again instead of shrunk up for winter. Yeah, that's good. Big plump queens. I lost 25% of my hives going into my 8th year. 25%. You're 25% lower than the normal, the national average, I think. So good for you. That's terrible to say, right? But that's good. Best way to stop the bear. Oh, yeah, we get this question a lot. A battery-operated bear fence is the best way. And if I had bears in my area, I would have my hives behind a bear fence. Yes, and there's so many people that have such good explanations on exactly, where to set the wire, how high the first wire is off the ground, whether you should bait the wire, how you ground it, solar power and all that. I mean, there's a science, and beekeepers know how to do this. Yep. Hey, Larry, your thoughts on the Doolittle method for splits? I think I do the Doolittle method for queen rearing. I'm not familiar right now. I can't recall. I think I've read the Doolittle method on splits. Can't recall it right now, so I can't answer that one. I'm going to write that down. All right, got it. All right, what time should I start splitting my hives? I have capped drone brood and pollen being carried in Central Ohio. Yeah, Central Ohio, you're about where I'm at. I would say I'm feeling like we're probably within a week or two before our bees are going to start swarming. So I'm kind of like thinking I've got another week or two. Who knows, but I think so. It's hard to tell, isn't it? You got to keep looking for queen cells. Yeah, absolutely. Got some giveaways coming up, so don't go anywhere. Got some good giveaways. Looking forward to it. All right, what other questions do you have on your mind? My colony died. 4 frames of capped honey left behind. I did feed fall and winter. Okay to harvest honey or just get back to the nuke I'm getting? If you have enough to do both, that would be ideal, Larry. You harvest some for yourself and give a few frames to the new nucleus. Hey, Ryan, thanks for your donation. Stark Lavender Fields made a video with Ryan over at his lavender farm. That was great. So always good to see you, Ryan. Thanks for being here tonight. I just moved to Central Illinois. I'm an hour from you and want to know when is the right time to inspect and split. Have one strong hive and purchase more to go, I guess. So anyway, when's the right time to do an inspection? Anytime the temperature is above 65 degrees Fahrenheit is a good time to inspect your hive. Keep in mind, you want to be able to inspect your hive when you know you can still get a queen in case you accidentally kill your queen. And here in Illinois, getting at the point where we might be able to get queens, but keep in mind, a lot of their early queens go into packages and nucleuses. So a lot of people can't sell you a queen because they're sold out or don't have them yet. Hey, Ross, thanks for your donation tonight. Is leaving capped honey frames from last fall out in the open for the bees to clean out in the spring a surefire way to cause robbing? Ross, you're going to get away with it a little bit more in the spring if you do it when there is already a nectar flow. Like if you do it while the flowers are blooming, bees don't rob as much, hardly at all, in when they can go out and get their own nectar. It's robbing occurs late in the summer when we have a dearth and there's not much out there. So keep an eye on it, though. It could just don't put it close to your hives. Yeah. Thank you, Justin, for your super sticker tonight. So kind of you guys for supporting the live stream. Let me just say the live stream does take a penny to operate, and you guys making donations allow us to give things away and have guest speakers. And if you don't want to donate here, you can always go to our website at honeybeesonline.com And there's a link in there where you can make a donation through our live or through our website for the live stream. I know it may not be the easiest thing to do here. Harrison, good to see you. Thanks for being a member of my YouTube channel. We have about 140 members of my YouTube channel that are Beak Squad ambassadors or nectar novices. And I'll have special meetings with these members or special videos from time to time. So it's good to have members supporting the channel. Thank you, guys. Awesome. Let's take a couple of more questions, then we'll have a giveaway. What else is on your mind? Olin, when do you put your supers on in Central Illinois, and do you put up swarm traps? Yeah, I made a video. Oh, no, it was here on LiveStream. We had a live stream 2 or 3 live streams ago about putting up swarm traps, how to make them, where to hang them, and all that. You can watch that. It's still any live stream. You can go back and watch it again. So check it out. Type in David Burns swarm traps. It'll come up here on YouTube. But yeah, I'm going to put up some swarm traps this year. I should have done it now. I've got so many things I'm doing. Wow. And when do I put my supers on? Dandelions. When I start seeing dandelions, I know it's time to put supers on. And so we're probably about a week away from supers. Yep. Where I live. One more, and then we'll do a giveaway. Hey, Brian, what process do you take in replacing your wax periodically? Aren't we supposed to take wax cells out every 5 years minimum? Yeah, that's a good idea, Brian. We feel like the older the comb gets in a frame, the wax, it increases the chance where it can have more chemicals on it that the bees are bringing in through studies have shown us. It gets smaller because with each generation of bees, there's another cocoon in that cell that is left behind. So the cell will get smaller, smaller, smaller. I mean, not really that small, but over years it will. And so, yeah, I think 5 years is about what we feel is a good time to replace that wax. A lot of people rotate it out, and they have so many frames they rotate in and out 1 year, and so many the next year, so many the next year. Yeah. Thanks, Ryan, for your Rich, for your donation. Appreciate you giving an appreciation our way. Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and have a giveaway tonight. We're going to be giving away one of my feeders because this is what you need to have on your hive right now, feeding in the spring. Thank you, Mark, for your donation. So you can put this on your hive just like this. Nope, just like this. And then you can put jars into these smallmouth jars and screw them in, and you can start feeding your bees just before the flow starts. Get your forages built up. That's what I'm doing right now. And it's good in case it turns cold again. You can still feed a little bit from the top. And if it rains a lot, you can still feed your bees. And you watch my video, I'll show you how to do it. The square hole, by the way, that's for a pollen patty. And when I created this many, many years ago, a decade and a half ago, I was using pollen patties. So I would take my pollen patties and push it through, and it would come into this space right here for the bees to eat. I don't like it when people say a queen extruder because it's a queen excluder. But if you push a pollen patty through these little mesh screen, you are extruding the pollen patty. You can use that word there. But anyway, the bees are able to get their proboscis through the screen easily. And a lot of you use these. So we're going to give one away tonight, maybe 2, but at least 1. So we'll see. Leave a comment in the chat, #feeder, small f, #feeder, and you'll have a chance to win one. We'll ship one out to you so that you can put it on your hive. And that'd be great for your hive. While we're taking comments, let's have a rapid fire time, okay? Is that a bad time to have rapid fire? All these comments are coming in, and now you guys are going to have to throw. So I'm going to answer these questions really fast. Do you ever use a 5-gallon bucket community feeder away from hives? Absolutely, I have, and I do. Do you recommend putting supers on a new hive? Use the 5-7 frame method. If they have 5 to 7 filled in their brood, yeah, put them on. Best way to encourage fast building on new super foundations when you don't have drawn ones to start with, wax them up good with extra wax and spray sugar water on them. That'll get them drawn out tons faster, Steve. Rapid fire. How do you suggest cleaning out dead out frames with cap brood that has turned into nasty goo? Scrape it off, re-wax, not worth it if it's plastic foundation. Do high UV readings affect bees' ability to see? Maybe, not sure. Bees are wearing sunglasses, it looks like. Their eyes are always real dark. Will bees use an entrance cut into the underside bottom of a swarm trap? Yeah, they can find a way to get in there. They don't care where it is. Started with 3 hives. Last one died this week. Sorry. Lots of defecating inside. Last hive, southern Manitoba, possible cause. Oh, boy. Yeah. Too small of a population. Probably got mites, viruses, and all that. It's pretty typical. I read that there's a new type of mite that is affecting honeybees. Tropolaelaps is affecting honeybees. Hasn't come to the U.S. Fingers crossed that it never will, Holly. Yep. How hot can I heat wax to be used on foundation? Well, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's not terribly hot. I heat it up and melt it and wait for it to start getting tacky and then put it on there. Betty, it appears the bees absconded and left all the honey. Can I harvest the honey? Absolutely. Yep, you sure can. It's fine, Betty. Hi, David. Do all mite treatments suppress the queen from laying? They should not. No. Not to say that they won't. I mean, you're vaporizing, you're chemicalizing. It could, but typically not. Well, doesn't the insulated hive create too much moisture, which would attract more hive beetle? All those things are possible, Darlene. I'll let you know this summer as I insulate 5 hives, and we'll see how it goes. One more, and then we'll do our giveaway. Recommendations on catching a swarm, converting to a nuke to sell them. Thanks. Yep, catch a swarm, convert it to a nuke, and sell it. That was fast. Yeah, that's easy, isn't it? 5 frames. All right, let's have a giveaway, Robbie. Somebody wants to win the feeder. I invented this. I created it out of necessity. You know, great inventions come out of necessity. I needed a way to feed my bees from the top. So this is the way I do. And you can see there in the picture, me out there doing it. And it works really well. Yep. So hashtag feeder, get your little comment in there. You may be the winner of this one today. Yeah, let's see. Who might win our feeder? A lot of you have purchased these, and we'll leave a link in the description, or we'll leave a link probably in the description or over here in the chat if you need to buy one if you don't win today. All right. Robbie has got his hands up funny. All right. He wants me to take this off. All right. Now that'll clean you up. My bad. Try it again, Robbie. Now I think everything won't be in your way. Oh, yep, he's got her working. There we go. Robbie's on the ball. All right, here we go. There goes Ed, David, Mike, Kelly, Paul, Michael. There goes, hey, Homer, Nancy, Doug Burton. Oh, and is he a biker? He looks like a bike racer like me. Oh, the way to go, Doug. You're the winner of the feeder board. So just email us. When it's going by the bottom there, you need to email us within 24 hours. Email beaksquadwinner@gmail.com, and we'll get that sent right out to you. And you can start feeding your bees. Let me know what kind of bike you have too. Oh, I want to have another giveaway. Didn't tell my team this, but let's go ahead and do one more giveaway tonight. I want to give away my spring management course, my online spring management course. Let's do hashtag spring. How about that? All lowercase. Give Robbie a minute to set that up. All lowercase. Hashtag spring. And we'll give away an online spring course that talks about swarm control, talks about splits, how to get ready for honey, how to, get your hives all perked up so they'll have a good honey harvest. A lot goes on in the spring, and a lot of mistakes can be made in spring that really sets our bees back. So it's important we know about what to do with our bees in the spring. So hashtag spring, all lowercase, and you can win my online spring course. You may already have it if you purchased one of my ultimate courses. Hey, Brian, thanks for your donation. If I want to split a hive but don't have the land for having the new hive 2 or 3 miles away, I have 1/3 of an acre. Would I still be able to do that? Yeah, Brian, try my trick. You got to try it. You just got to take that new split, take it somewhere and put it really, far away from the main hive as you can, but put it kind of in a strange place, like right up next where the entrance is a foot away from a a tree, a foot away from a fence, where when they fly out, they have to take a new orientation flight. If you don't have that, try setting up a folding chair in front of it, park something right in front of the entrance where they can't really come out and fly. They got to go around that. Sometimes that really does help. You can put grass in there for a day or two, force them to kind of slowly come out and get a new orientation flight. Yep. It's always good to see you, Brian. Thanks for your donation too. Yep. You guys are great, by the way. If I said that, man, we got a great crowd here tonight, and it's a privilege to help you guys. Hi, Vlad. I read that mites are present even when the mite washes show 0 mites. So why not treat without dodging or without doing a mite wash first to lower the mite load as much as possible? I don't doubt it that there could be mites present, even though you do a wash and you come back 0. I think if you washed all your bees in alcohol, you'd probably find mites, even though your first or second wash didn't show anything. But then you wouldn't have any bees if you did that. We have developed protocols to help beekeepers. It's not always that this is the only way or the best way, but this is a way that works. We can take a measurement and know how badly they're infested. So if you're wanting to get rid of every single mite, treatment isn't a bad idea. I'm not saying it's not bad to do that, but we always don't know how many mites we have unless we test first. And we don't know if our treatments are working unless we test to see if the mites went down in number. That's important too. All right, let's go ahead and see who might win our class tonight. Our online class, #spring, get it in there quick. Robbie's about ready to draw. Here we go. All right, great. Look at all those names. Hey, everybody. All right, who's it going to land on? Zoe Murray, you're the winner. So be sure and email us within 24 hours at beaksquadwinner@gmail.com. Zoe Murray, I'm going to write that down. I don't see Sherry here with us, so she was here a minute ago, and I'm not sure what happened. So she's the one usually keeping those notes down. All right, so we got that. Thank you. I don't know what happened. We are out of time. Oh my gosh, what in the world? I'm going to look through my list here, make sure I got everything said that I was supposed to say, and I did. Guys, I want to thank you so much for being here tonight. I got a moment for a couple more questions, but I want to jump in here and say, I really sincerely appreciate all of you. You're such a loyal community, and this is so fun to be with you guys every Thursday night. You know, times are strange and different and hard out there. And I know that a lot of you find a lot of comfort in friendships with beekeepers like I do. And I just love this live stream where we can get together and sincerely just chat. And we had the honeybees to bring us together in a similar hobby or, you know, occupation or whatever. And we love it. We love being together. So you guys are the best. I really appreciate you so much. Really do. Let's take really quickly 2 more questions. And then I'm going to take all the questions that weren't answered and make a video tomorrow to answer them. Hey, Linda, can you use a queen excluder above the bottom board and a queen excluder on top of your deep hive to help prolong a swarm? Yes, you can. Yes, you can do that. That will work. Yep. Not too long, but long enough for you to get a hold of the hive and cut out some queen cells. 1 more question. All right, because of the temps and other restricting factors, looks like I may have to use a particular mite treatment twice in a row. Is that bad? It's not bad as long as you're following the label. So look at the label, look what the label says, find out if you're within the protocol that is best for your bees. That's the important thing. Yeah, it sure is. All right, guys, I want to thank you again. Don't forget, look in the description below or in the chat over here. I want you to fill out that survey. Let us know how many hives that made it through the winter or maybe why you may have lost your hives. Fill out that survey. That'd be great. Also, check out my videos I made recently. Made some good videos on whether or not the new vaccine on the queen is worth it or not. Made some videos about a new way to use a mite treatment decision tool. You want to watch that video too. So be sure and check out all my videos. As always, man, I appreciate you guys. You're the best. I love you guys to the moon and back. I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.